Hello, and welcome to Web Wednesdays with Bishop D. God bless you and God keep you, Facebook friends and YouTubers. I'd just like to share with you very briefly a response to a post that I've made on our Facebook page. Um, it's sort of like a follow up. I made a post last week about one of my pet peeves concerning those of us in ministry who are prone to quote and employ quips from other proclaimers, uh, but we're not really strong in doing biblical exegesis for ourselves. Let me just add an addendum to that statement by saying I have no issue with quoting other ministers and other preachers, whether it be from commentary, the printed page, or things that we've heard in our ministry over the years that have impacted us that add to or give further elucidation to a point that we're making about a passage. I do it all the time. However, never come before, in my estimation, again, in my estimated rate, it shouldn't come before we do the biblical work ourselves. God called us to cut it straight, to rightly divide the word of truth. So that is our primary objective. I am a student of Scripture, and every proclaimer ought to be a student of Scripture first. We are called to preach the word, to be instant in season and out of season, to reprove, rebuke, to exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. And we can't do that if we're quoting what someone else says. So, primarily, secondarily, or if we're doing it to supplement the information that God has given us in Revelation, then I see no issue with that. One of my mentors, Dr. Amos Patterson, taught us in pastor's class when we dealt with exegesis and biblical homiletics that our responsibility is to analyze the text, to crystallize the truth, and to humanize the telling. And that is all done to make sure that we preach the Lordship of Jesus Christ, no matter what we're doing in our preaching throughout the year. And I strictly adhere to that because it is so important that we do that, to analyze the text, to crystallize the truth, and to humanize the telling of that truth. That is biblical exegesis. That's the foundation of all preaching, no matter what you're preaching. He would say often, as I would oftentimes leave my pulpit in Baton Rouge and travel to his church, the Corinth Church in Houston, as I would take a sabbatical just to be fed, just to hear preaching that would feed me. He would often tell his church that I only preach one sermon all year long, and that is the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Now, I preach it in four different ways. I preach it to do preach on the lordship of Christ through worship, through stewardship, through evangelism, through discipleship. But I'm only preaching one sermon. That's the lordship of Jesus Christ. And the way he does it and the way I do it is through analyzing the text, crystallizing the truth, and humanizing the telling of that truth. God bless you. I hope that helps. God bless.